One of the most important discoveries I made when I was an undergraduate in college was the work of Dr. Viktor Frankl, an Austrian Jew who was the only member of his family to survive the Holocaust, having spent time in 4 different concentration camps, including Auschwitz. As required reading in an introductory philosophy course, we were assigned Frankl's 1945 book, Man's Search for Meaning, which he wrote after being liberated from the camp, about his observations and experiences while there. Enduring the atrocities every day, he explained that his motivation to keep living came from a will to meaning, essentially the aspiration to find meaning in his remaining life. I distinctly remember my professor reading this sentence out loud, standing in front of our classroom, while I fervently underlined it in my book. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. In Frankl's case, he was responding to the world within him, in spite of what horrors were happening in the world around him. Of course, a heated debate ensued in the classroom, stoked by our professor, focused on what is even the point of having meaning, or trying to be unbreakable, or having a strong moral character when the odds were in most of the prisoners in the concentration camps that they would perish there. Clearly, the prisoners knew the odds were not in their favor. Our professor explained that we were all assuming that somehow this will to live would lead to survival. But Frankl was only pointing to the type of prisoner a person could choose to be in that moment. Because the one thing no individual could be robbed of was the free will, the agency to make that choice. In reviewing the tattered copy I still have from my sophomore year of college, I noticed that I also double underlined the following sentence. In accepting this challenge to suffer bravely, life has a meaning up to the last moment, and it retains this meaning literally to the end. In other words, life's meaning is an unconditional one, for it even includes the potential meaning of unavoidable suffering. Frankl's philosophies helped develop a scientifically recognized area of psychotherapy called logotherapy, logos being the Greek word for meaning, which posits that our lives retain meaning right up until our final moments, in both terrible and mundane circumstances alike. The difference in each moment is simply relative to each person. Obviously, the meaning of life for a concentration camp prisoner is different than that of a person living freely and peacefully. Yet both individuals have the option to never lose agency over their inner world in the here and now. We may feel like we have no control, no choice, nor agency over our lives, but it is worth considering during these dark and challenging times that it can be the tragedy or the hardship that actually becomes an opportunity. It's times like these when we find ourselves at a crossroads. We have the choice of being bitter or getting better. Tapping into our sense of agency precisely at these critical moments means that we can actively choose to connect with our inner world. And the result of that connection has the potential to manifest in the outer world in a profoundly contributory way.